Okay, social media people. I guess first of all, I apologize for my voice. When you unload trucks in sub freezing temperatures, you tend to get a sinus infection or the flu. So we'll just keep powering on. If you can ignore my voice or the raspiness thereof, then I appreciate it. Secondly, I guess I'm doing something I have never done before. I got back onto social media at the beginning of the hurricane, just to be able to share updates with friends around the world as to kind of what I was seeing and what was going on. I never intended for it to be a way for me to communicate as much as it has been, and I never expected to be using it in the way that I'm going to be using it. This is something I've never done before, which is literally getting on social media and asking for help. I've never used any kind of fundraiser, even for my kids in school, or I've never posted anything. I've never put a link out there. I'm maybe too fiercely independent sometimes, but we're also kind of at a point where I think in the recovery process, it's time that people understood where things really are. Um, for me, I came down here 2 months ago to check on my family. This was never part of the plan. I never expected to be given a secondary cell phone that would ring with calls from across the country of people wanting to donate. I never expected to be running logistics out of the same school that I attended kindergarten through fifth grade. And I haven't lived in Banner Elk since I left at 18 to go to Furman University. I just came back here to check on some family, and the next thing you know, it's 2 months later, and we've helped thousands of families, and we continue to help thousands of families. But here's the problem, and here's why I need your help. Most of the facilities up here have either scaled back or shut down. Whether it's because they have to get their fire trucks back into the fire station so that the trucks don't freeze, whether it is schools needed to start back or churches needed to resume Sunday service, whatever the case may be, the amount of sites that are still functioning and operational is the least that it has been. There are a handful of organizations that are still pushing forward and fighting the good fight, but their volunteers are worn down and their supplies are dwindling. Their supplies are dwindling because there are very few locations up here that were able to process large volumes of anything. I'm one of the few locations that had a forklift. I'm one of the few groups of people that even knew how to manage incoming 18-wheeler deliveries and push that kind of volume through the equivalent of 3 classrooms and a cafeteria of a historic school. Mind you, there's a new Banner Elk Elementary School, so that school is not hosting students anymore. But either way, what we're talking about, a couple thousand square feet, and we're moving at one point an 18-wheeler a day through that location. The problem is that as of Thanksgiving, the Banner Elk location closed down. I was not necessarily in favor of that, but I couldn't make the call to prevent it. Even if I tried to rent the school classrooms out myself and raise the volunteers and do it. The town was just kind of ready to be done and trying to get back to business as usual. Unfortunately, I have childhood friends and family members who don't have a home. So it's not business as usual. It is still a labor of love. There are people who can't get back to work because they lost their home and, oh, they lost all their tools that they would do their job with as well. For me personally, it's not just the feel good stories that I'll be able to share down the road of life changing experiences that have touched my heart. But it's more so the fact that I sit here and I look and I go, if not me, then who? And that's where we're at in the phase of the game, is that I have an ability to bring in supplies and process supplies at a level that many places cannot. Unfortunately, we don't have the place to do that. And the reason for this video is because we've decided to build a place that we can do that effectively. This is a tourist town. There is no manufacturing here. There is no distribution here. There are very few people with any kind of logistical background whatsoever here. We are in a phase where we need warehouse space. I can't dock bounce out of a field when there's snow and mud all in the field now. I have gotten the property. I have gotten an organization that's willing to provide all the labor. I've got organizations that are willing to do the grading. Now we just need to buy the materials to be able to function. Our 501c3 paperwork has been stuck with the government for at least a month now, and that's kind of why I kept delaying doing anything like this, because we thought it would be done way faster than this. In order to supply building materials, food, supplies, heaters, tents, you've got to have some sort of space to function out of, and not for nothing, but 2,000 square feet doesn't cut it. All these little sites need to be able to move a pallet's worth of heaters, and yet they only have the shelf space for 2 to 5. We are also fighting the elements. It's cold. It's the coldest that it's been, and the last thing we want is someone in a tent or a camper or whatever else not being able to have the heat or warmth that they need. As we move into phase 2, it is breaking my heart to have to try and figure out how to reroute or even turn down truckloads of donations because we have nowhere to put it. And I mean truckloads, for example, a dozen 18-wheelers full of building supplies, because we have nowhere to unload it. We have nowhere to put it. And there's so many donations like that still sitting on the sidelines, ready to come to Western North Carolina in the high country. I'm on boards and groups and all kinds of other nonprofit organizations that are all trying to help. But right now, the hurdle and the stumbling block is, where do we store this material? I'm not a Facebook guy. I don't know how to do filters. I don't know how to, put music to the background of this. This is just me speaking from the heart, going, I spent this week visiting locations, and enough is enough. If someone doesn't step up and get some warehouse space built, then the recovery for this area is going to take substantially longer than it would if we had the infrastructure here to begin with to be able to support the rebuilding of these communities. My plan is to build warehouses, and I need your help to do that. There's a link for a GoFundMe if you would prefer a tax-deductible donation. We are hoping beyond all hope that we will have our 501c3 for the Appalachian Mountains Foundation completed before the end of this month, but again, I can't promise you that that is the case. All I really want to do is help my neighbors and help the people that I grew up around. I was fortunate to get a scholarship to Furman, and I was fortunate to have a career outside of here, but it's time for me to be able to give back to my hometown and my mountains. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for any of your donations. I can promise you this: they will help multiple families in multiple counties. It's not just about Banner Elk. It's not just about Avery County. It's about the high country, and that's what I'm here for. So thank you.